either. Yeah, where's your
All right, please, court session.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Please be seated. All right, we're here for a violation of supervised release in United States versus Blanco. Criminal action 2005-473. Ms. Cox here for United States.
Yes, good morning, Your Honor.
And Mr. Clark for the defendant.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Blanco, you're here, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what's the, would you like to make, who's the probation officer is?
James Derzalitis, Judge.
All right, how do you spell your last name, sorry?
D-I-R-Z-U-L-A-I-T-I-S.
All right, thank you. All right, Ms. Cox, you want to present the facts, please?
Your Honor, if I could ask the probation officer to summarize them to
Okay.
the court.
And, Your Honor, just for the record, we're not contesting the allegations, but, you know, I know Your Honor needs a basis to
Well, I
make
just
a
want
ruling.
to, have a summary on the record.
Very well, Judge.
Go ahead.
Did you want to just go
Well, I have the memorandum here. Is this the what dated January 7th, 2011?
Yes, Your
The
Honor.
latest report?
That's correct, Judge.
All right. When was the defendant arrested?
Your Honor, I can provide some of the, you mean the most recent arrest or the rest
Well,
of the underlying case?
How long has he been in prison?
I think March 11th, Your Honor.
He was arrested on this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
On the violation?
Yes.
Because I had authorized a summons.
He failed to appear at the last listing, Your Honor.
Right.
Right, and that led to
All right.
the
So
plea
then there
warrant,
was a
Judge.
bench warrant?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And all right, so we have here is a series of grade C violations. Is that right?
That's correct,
Yes,
Your
sir.
Honor.
All right. Failing to have drug treatment and failing to pay the fine and things like that. All right. Well, Mr. Clark, what's the defendant's position?
Well, Judge, first of all, as it relates to the violation, he acknowledges those violations as I indicated to the court.
Right.
He has a substance abuse problem. He's using marijuana, which is, of course, contrary to the order issued by the court. He's had a couple of positive urines. I think he was before Your Honor back in the summer of 2010. Same kind of behavior. Since that time, efforts have been made for him to undergo outpatient treatment, counseling and therapy for the use of marijuana. And he has, on occasions when he's supposed to report to do that, he has failed to do that. And so those allegations are set forth. Further, I think there's a period of time that he has been in contact with the probation officer, but there are also periods of time when he has not responded, has not made his appointments. And lastly, in December, the probation officer couldn't even find him at his last known address. So given that backdrop, we are requesting, and I've seen the recommendation from the probation, we are requesting an inpatient treatment facility, and perhaps we can get his behaviors under control.
Well, what's your position about that, Mr. Derzalitis?
Judge, I am in agreement with providing him with some type of treatment, but I also feel that there is some type of sanction that should be imposed. The reason being, he was originally sanctioned back in late summer for the same type of behavior, failing to attend treatment.
Well, for some reason, I don't have a record of that handy here. Maybe it's here, but I can't find it.
Because I have
What kind of?
I have a copy of the modification that was signed by Your Honor on July 13th.
July 13th, yeah. What happened then? What is this report? Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. After being released from the residential reentry center, I believe the same type of behavior ensued. And quite frankly, Judge, I honestly believe at this point, I believe it's an unwillingness to follow Your Honor's order.
Well, first of all, let's find out what happened last July. I have the request for modifying the condition, which signed by you, and I ordered a hearing. as of July 13th, I agreed that there should be a modification, that the defendant should serve 90 days in a residential reentry center. Did that happen?
Yes, it did, Judge. He successfully completed the 90 days.
Where?
That was at Luzerne Residential Reentry Center.
When was he released from there?
He was released on, I believe,
Would that be December 29th, 24th?
October 27, 2010.
Is that right, Mr. Clark?
That's right, Your Honor.
All right. Then what happened after that?
He was released from the Residential Reentry Center and began supervision with our office again.
I'm not sure I had a hearing last summer. It appears that this was just done on petition. But
Yes, he waived his right to a hearing.
all right.
He
Okay.
agreed to
So
a
all right.
modification.
Okay. So he went in there and he did the 90 days.
That's correct.
All right. Although I signed. All right. So then what happened?
He was released after 90 days on October 27, 2010. He was being supervised by myself. And if you read the violation petition, that's when, within a few weeks after that, the violations began.
All right. Well, Mr. Clark, the issue I have is he already went through a 90-day treatment facility. You know, what's the point of doing it over again?
Well, I think the point, Judge, is, as I understand from my client, that during that 90-day period, Judge, he received little, if any, treatment for substance abuse. He advises me that there was a program that was available there, but by the time he got into the program or he was transitioned to the program, it basically had ended. So you,
I was there for 90 days.
Well,
hold on a second.
are you aware of that? Do you have any knowledge of that, Mr. Durolatis?
He was enrolled in outpatient treatment at MidSec treatment
And
agency.
after he was released from Luzerne,
After he was released from Luzerne.
did he get any drug treatment at Luzerne?
Yes, he was. He would leave.
You
the-
say yes. Mr. Clark says he did.
Yes,
did.
he was released from the facility. Or while he was in the facility, he would leave the facility to report to MinSec for treatment purposes.
For where?
MinSec, MINSEC, located here in the city of Philadelphia.
Right, Mr. Clark?
that I don't know, Judge. But what is that? Where you at?
He did not successfully complete that because he was released prior to that date,
Prior to what date?
prior to his completion of treatment in MinSec. There's a certain amount of time
He was
had-
released from Luzerne on October 27, 2010.
Correct.
Right.
He was supposed to keep going to MidSec?
No,
No?
because he resided in Berks County. So we switched his treatment to Berks Counseling Center in Reading, Pennsylvania.
Where? What's it called?
Berks Counseling Center?
All right, he was supposed to go there?
That's correct.
All right. In your position, he didn't go?
He did not go.
Is that right, Mr. Clark?
That's correct, Judge. I think this is the one he was late for on December 2nd.
He was late for his first appointment, his intake appointment. He was rescheduled for the next week, and he failed to report that week.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Why?
He was
I
high.
mean, does he want to testify? I'm happy to hear from him.
Yeah, I'm gonna, if you don't mind, Judge, I would like him to explain.
Swear in, Mr. Blank.
Please rise. Raise your right hand. Do you swear and/or affirm that the testimony you'll give the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Or you so do affirm?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Monaco, would you state
Well,
your...
why haven't you done what you were supposed to do, Mr. Blanco?
Judge, tell you the truth, I was just getting high.
I can't hear you.
I was getting high, Your Honor.
Why? What kind of drugs are you using?
Marijuana?
Is that all?
Yes, sir.
Well, you're on probation. You're not allowed to use drugs.
I know, Your Honor, and, my PO gave me plenty of chances, and he talked to me, and, I just did it again.
Well, what do you think I should do? The woman in the back is raising her hand, Mr. Clark. Well, just a minute. Do you want to call this woman? Who is she?
Judge, can we finish with him first, and then we can do that, and then, is that okay? I think that's his mother.
Well, do you want to ask Mr. Clark Mr. Clark, do you want to ask the defendant any questions?
If I could just clear up a few things, which I was
Yeah,
saying,
go
because I
ahead.
want to make sure that they're accurate. When you went into the rehabilitation program pursuant to our agreement back in, looks like, in July, correct?
First,
July 31st? This is the 90-day residential reentry program?
the halfway house. Yes.
Halfway house. Can you tell the judge what treatment you received for substance abuse while you were in the residential treatment?
Well, the first month I couldn't go to treatment because I didn't have any insurance, so I had to wait for public assistance to get insurance. So I went to MenSec around, I say, late August, and then they was trying to squeeze me in 4 nights a week to try to complete the program, but I couldn't complete the program because it was a 6-month program. So they unsuccessfully discharged me
So how long?
Why couldn't you complete the program?
because it was 6 months and I was only detained to the halfway house for 90 days.
Yeah, but then you were supposed to go to the Berks County, what was it called, the Berks Counseling Center?
First counseling center.
Did you go there?
No, sir.
Why not?
I was getting high, Your Honor.
Well, Mr. Clark, can you develop a better reason? That's not a reason not to go.
Well, you know, what was going on in your life? I think that's the. Let me go back. Were you employed while you were in the halfway house?
Not this time. Not this time.
Not this time.
Not for the 90 days.
Okay. So what was going on in your life? That's what the judge is asking you. Just getting high is getting high. But what was going on in your life at the time when you were released from treatment? You were supposed to go to the MenSac program. You didn't go. Why didn't you go?
I was already there before, and just this time I missed the first appointment, and then I didn't go to the second time when she reassigned.
But why didn't you do that? That's what the judge is asking you. Why did you not report when they gave you a second chance to go into the rehab program? You say you have a problem with substance abuse, correct? Yeah. So you have an opportunity to go into a program. So why didn't you go?
I feel as though Berks Counseling for real won't help me.
I can't hear it. What?
I feel as though Berks Counseling will not help me.
How did you know? You didn't
That's
go there.
not up to you to decide. Your probation officer instructed you to go there.
I know, Your Honor.
What?
No, I said I know.
Is that the only answer you have? How old are you?
28.
When's the last time you had a paying job?
2010.
When?
2010.
What were you doing?
I was working at JP Mascaro, the trash company.
What were you doing there?
Garbage waste.
And why did you lose that job?
I got hurt on the truck.
Got hurt?
Yes.
Did you get medical care?
No, sir.
Why not?
Because I had dirty urine, and if I would have went to the hospital, I would have lost my job.
You lost your job anyway.
Yeah.
Well, have you tried to get another job?
Yes, sir. I worked for another month at Viva.
Another what?
Viva restaurant.
Yeah. What did you do there?
I was dishwasher.
What happened to that job?
I went to the halfway house.
Well, but then you left the halfway house.
Yes.
Did you get another job then?
No, sir.
Why not?
I wasn't looking, sir.
Well, you're 28 years old. What do you expect to do with your life? Just smoke marijuana all the time?
No, sir.
What?
No, sir.
Well, what?
I don't know, Your Honor.
Have you ever thought about that?
Yes. I think about it every day.
You think you just want to go back to jail?
No.
How far did you go in school?
I got my GED.
Mr. Clark, this is thoroughly discouraging, I got to tell you.
Well, I'm discouraged as well, Judge. I certainly understand the importance. But
Does
usually,
does his father want to? Do you want to call her or not?
may I speak to her for a moment, Judge? May I have the court's indulgence? Your Honor, I don't wish to have his mother testify. What she really, to me, are factors which were stressful for all of us. Child obligations. He has 3 children.
Right.
He can't see them. He doesn't. He supports them when he can. But as you can see from his employment history, Judge, in the recent past, that isn't a real strong history in terms of being able to meet that obligation. And so, therefore, his mother believes he's been, has some stress and anxiety for that reason. But at the end of the day, Judge, and once again, I can only say, what the probation officer says is totally true. He's done everything he could to try to get him into treatment. So the responsibility now falls on my client. All I'm suggesting to Your Honor is that he needs some job skills. He needs some help with his drug problem. He has not accepted that, Judge. There's no way for me to. That's what the record shows, and that's what the facts show. But at the same time, incarcerating him, Judge, I don't think it's going to get us home any sooner, other than locking him up. Because when he gets released, as he will get released, he's going to have to start this process in terms of getting some job training and getting some rehab work. There's just no way to get around it. But he has to do that.
Well, but yeah, Mr. Clark, he's shown no adult responsibility. He says he's 28-year-old. He's acting like a 15-year-old.
Well, Judge,
he's completely clueless as to what his responsibilities are. I mean, he's been given chance after chance. He gets set up to go to the Berks County Counseling Center to get some help. It's not for him to decide he doesn't want to go. He's unwilling to comply not only with the laws, because he's on supervised release. He spent 5 years in jail. Is that right? Close to it.
Yeah, 60 months, sure.
And he's got a terrible record. He's criminal history category 4, right?
I think 4 or 5, Judge. I think he thinks he's a 5.
He's a 6, Judge.
He's a 6? That's correct.
And and the best job he's had is a dishwasher.
And working on a trash truck, Judge. And so I think what that speaks of with the GED, first of all, though he's 28, it is clear that he is not a mature 28.
You're right.
I mean,
We can all agree about that.
You're right. I mean, some days
It's very sad.
It is sad. It is sad. But, so he's not mature. He's not responsible. He's not doing the things that you would expect a 28-year-old man to do. And you don't want him on the other side to get in trouble, with the law.
When did he get out of jail on a firearm conviction?
It was December 24th, 2009.
And why did he go back to smoking marijuana again? I mean, he'd been in jail for 5 years. You'd think he would have been cured of that.
I think, Judge, what happened, is he went back and he gets back into that same group, the non-thinking, immature, hangout people, and you're not associating yourself. Whatever treatment he gets, Judge, if he goes back to the same pattern and the same habits that he had before, he'll end up in the same place. And that's where we are. He didn't change.
He's got to live somewhere else. He's got to get away from druggies and addicts and places where he can get marijuana. You have 3 children, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Doesn't he? Do you have any responsibility towards them?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, then why you forget about me and forget about the law? What about your children? Why don't you think about them before you smoke marijuana and get high? What kind of father do you want to be?
Not like mine.
What?
I said not like mine.
Not like your father?
Yes.
Well, what about like you? I tell you, Mr. Clark, the record of this hearing is just a total lack of any responsibility, of any adult responsibility or self-recognition that he is unable to conform his behavior to a law-abiding society or the rules and regulations of being on supervised release or his own responsibility to his children.
That is correct, John. Having said that, there are still technical violations. No new criminal conduct.
Sentencing guideline for technical violation C in criminal history category 6 is 8 to 14
I
months.
think. And so that's just the reality of it, Judge. But what I would ask Your Honor to do, I think the recommendation from probation, I think, is 10 months. I would ask Your Honor to, to sanction him, but at the same time, make sure that, you give him, with the court's permission, to give him some kind of inpatient treatment.
Well, I hear you
Maybe
say that,
that'll
but I
help.
don't know any place to send him that it's going to make any difference. I mean, why should he get another, these places are full up, why should he get get some preference going somewhere? I don't know.
But I think the answer, excuse
Do
me.
you,
Judge,
do you have a place that he could go to that would take him?
Judge, I don't know. I haven't, I won't have to get.
Mother's raising her hand again. It's up to Mr. Clark.
It's fine, Judge. I have no problem. Maybe she has
Come
something.
on up and be sworn.
You have to come up and be sworn.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear and/or affirm that the testimony you'll give the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Or you so to affirm? Please state your full name and spell your last name for the record.
Lenora Gibbs, Gibbs.
Thank you.
Ms. Gibbs, there's something that you want to say to the judge about?
Yes, you're talking about treatment programs, incarceration. Personally, you're right. He does need to separate from the people whom he gets his stuff from. At one point in his life, he was my pastor's prayer partner. His father died at a young age. I can't be a father to him. I don't know how to. I know how to be a good mother to him. What I recommend, there's a place called Teen Challenge. It's a drug treatment program for men. It's a Christian program. My son went to this federal prison. He comes back a Muslim. I didn't raise my son as a Muslim. And he might not agree with this program because of his Muslim religion. But, I've seen successful men come out of Teen Challenge. It's a program up by, past between Berks County and Schuylkill County.
Well, all right. Well, I'll let the probation department think about that. He's got to go back to jail, Ms. Gibbs. I'm sorry. He just has no sense of responsibility for his conduct or to his children. I mean, how he could be a father to 3 children and smoke marijuana all day long and get high. That's all he wants to do is get high. Okay, thanks very much for coming in.
Judge, the only thing I would add, and
Yes, sir.
once again, I understand how the court is thinking. These young people, and my client is an example of it, I believe.
He's acting like a young person. He's an adult. He's a mature adult.
But Judge, he's
He's
acting like
a juvenile.
he's acting like a juvenile. What am I going to tell you? That's the sense that I get as well.
I mean, what would you like to say, Mr.
Well, what
Gibbs?
happens, Judge,
Mr. Clark, I'm ready to impose sentence.
I understand, Judge. Just give me 1 second.
Sure.
What happens, Judge, is that people who are on drugs and using drugs on a regular basis, until they have to hit rock bottom, and then maybe that'll be when you send them to jail, Judge. Maybe that'll do it. But the reality of it is, most addicts and most people who abuse the drugs, they don't get clean the first time. They don't get clean sometimes the second or third time. There comes a point that he has to say, I'm going to do something different. And I understand clearly, Judge, you're saying he's not saying that. He's saying, I'm going to do the same old knucklehead things I've been doing.
Right.
And so that's all I'm suggesting to you, Your Honor, is that I would ask Your Honor, I understand how you feel about it. This record supports your feeling on that. But I'm not going to sit here and make an argument to Your Honor that I don't believe is fair and accurate in terms of this record or what my client should do. He may think I'm a bad guy, but the reality of it is this thing sucks. And he's had an opportunity to do better. And he's a nice young man. If you sit down and talk to him, Judge, he's a nice young man. But he's got to straighten this thing up. And you have to use whatever controls you have to try to make sure that happens. Thank you, Judge.
Yes, Ms. Cox.
Your Honor, the government would recommend that Your Honor impose the sentence recommended by the probation officer, which is 10 months imprisonment followed by 2 years supervised release. And during that 2-year supervised release, the defendant can get some outpatient drug treatment if it's needed and some job skills if it's needed.
All right. I'm going to accept the recommendation of the government and the probation officer. And I think it's very fair. I mean, Mr. Blanco, you have, just no responsibility towards yourself, towards the law, towards the provisions of supervised release towards your children, your mother, and you just need to learn try to learn again, because you've been in jail many times. You've probably spent half of your adult life in jail, maybe more than half. And you just got to get a hold of yourself and just correct your behavior so that when you get out, you're going to live by the rules. And that's what you have to do. All right, it's the judgment of the court. The defendant's committed to the director of the Bureau of Prisons for a period of 10 months. Upon release from custody, the defendants will serve 2 years of supervised release. All general and special conditions of supervised release originally imposed will remain the same. Now, Mr. Blanco, when you get out of jail and you get the conditions of supervised release, if you don't listen to them, you're going to go back to jail again. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
So if you want to stay out of jail, you've got to conform your behavior to the rules and regulations of the probation department, of the conditions that are put on you, and the law. Okay? So you just got to make up your mind. You're not going to smoke any more dope. Yes, sir.
Is it possible if I can switch my address
You
to a
can what?
different region?
I didn't hear you.
Judge, he expects that, I think his family's going to move. Have they moved already?
Yes,
To where?
North Carolina.
But I think it's premature for that perhaps at this moment. But when he gets released, he's saying maybe released to the whatever district it is in North Carolina as opposed to this district. But
Judge, I could shed some light on that.
Right.
He will need to meet with his caseworker at the Bureau of Prisons. They would submit a release plan to whatever district he would like to transfer to. That district will evaluate that and respond if it's accepted
Okay.
or not.
Well, do you understand that, Mr. Blanco? You do it in prison. Would you rather go to a prison in North Carolina?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we'll put that in the order. I'll request the Bureau of Prisons to place you in a prison in or close to North Carolina. All right,
Right.
court's adjourned. Thank you.
Your Honor,
you, Judge.
would you like me to advise the defendant of his appellate rights?
Yes.
Sir, you have 14 days in which to appeal the judge's sentence today, and if you cannot afford an attorney, counsel will be appointed for you. Do you understand, sir?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
thank you, Judge.
Oh, Joanne, I signed this. Give you type.
So you have to bring it back right away.